Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to be talking about the Luke Return of the Jedi V2 lightsaber replica, which I've got here in front of me. I have talked about this one in a previous video, but since then I've updated a few parts. I thought I'd like to kind of go over it one more time, start from the beginning. So this is a Dave Parkin V2. Dave is a member of the RPF. He's from the UK and he does these limited runs of extremely screen accurate hilts. Dave likes to make his replicas as close to possible to like real world parts, what they used at the time during filming. So therefore you're not going to find any parts that are like hollow on the inside or modified in any way to take, switches, batteries, chassis, that kind of stuff. They're not made to be installable. That's why they have a heft to them, because they're all, solid. The dimensions and, even the metals and materials used are really match very closely to what was used as far as his research has shown anyway. And Dave is very, very thorough. He spent months looking up these, collecting reference pictures, just talking to different people to try to get as accurate as possible. As you can see here, this is a stunning replica. So this is now unfortunately sold out. It was a limited run. I think it was a couple of years ago. I had to sign up on it. I sign up for it on either on the Facebook groups or on the RPF. At the time, I did not do a full commission with him. Because you had a choice where you could get it yourself and do all the weathering stuff yourself, or you could do part of it. So I went with, I asked Dave just to do 2 bits, which is the emitter damage here, the bent emitter that you can see here. Obviously this is all accurate. And the other part that I asked him to do was the damage on the pommel. And everything else, I then asked him to ship it to Adam Wells, another friend of mine in the UK who's got a lot of experience with V2 lightsabers. So Adam was the one who'd done the chemical weathering, he applied the stencils that were sent from Dave, and he did the paint. So we'll start from the top. As you can see here, even that nipple has got that small chip on it. Just all these little, like this little airbrushed line here that Adam has done. As I said, the bent emitter. And this is a freely spinning emitter, which is accurate, obviously. The gaffer tape was supplied by Adam. It's a found part. I really like the dark brown here on the neck. Adam's done a great job with this, as has Dave, of course. There were stencils supplied for the each of the rims of the grenade, so it's extremely accurate. So Adam's done the paint, and then I think it looks like he's used some, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a little bit of weathering in between as well, the rings. Might be just some Tamiya weathering powder or something similar. So I haven't really changed much up here since then, but down here, this initially came with a Roman props clamp. I wasn't crazy about. I don't know whether I got a bad one, like that batch was not. There was something about it. It was full of machining marks. I just wasn't crazy about it. I switched it out to another replica from TGS, but this is actually what made me do the video again. This is now a vintage clamp. This is a vintage Graflex ink clamp. You can see here the G lines up with the square tabs, which is a good tell for a vintage. So I got this at a really good price from a friend of mine on Facebook. So the clamp is vintage. The lever, of course, is not, because I don't think we even know where the lever came from. But this is a Wanawanga lever. However, the washer underneath, the sidebar there, those are both vintage. They belong to that clamp. The block down here comes from a different vintage clamp, which was sent to me by my friend Colin. So thank you, Colin, if you're watching. Yeah, so most of it is vintage, other than the lever, which is Wanawanga, and obviously the clamp card, which is a sloth furnace. The clamp was clean. I'd actually looked at some reference pictures and talked to Adam about making these like rust spots and marks, because this is accurate to the real prop. So I'd done these myself. I try to focus a little bit on them. They're not perfect, but you know, they're fairly close to what you see on the prop. There's a large rust spot over here. There's a few rust spots over here. There's a little bit of rust on the side. That's all done by me. Also a little bit on the lever. Some of it's natural as well. Some of the rust that you can see underneath the lever here, that's all real, actual rust. Yeah, so that was the first update. The booster, this is great. I mean, I requested from Adam to do the booster slightly darker to everything else. It just turned out fantastic. And a couple of mods he's done for me is, if you can see that little bluish like string underneath, that's a fishing line. And that was present on the original prop for Mark Hamill to pull the lightsaber towards him from when that scene with the Emperor. The Emperor's got it next to him, and he says, you know, take your weapon, strike me down. And then Luke just pulls the lightsaber towards him. So there's a little fishing line for him to do that stunt. There's also a semilunar chip here, which I've asked Adam to do that. The chunk here, that is a vintage part as well, from a boot stud. I've also updated the cone knob. This came with a really good replica from Dave, but it wasn't 100% accurate to the real world part. This is a very recent addition to Wanawanga's store. I think he released these in April 2023. So this is the most accurate in terms of the shape of the knurling. I've used lots of cone knobs in the past. I've tried Romans, KR Sabers, Solo's Hold, Dave, and now Wanawanga. And this is by far the most accurate. So yeah, that's another upgrade that I made, was the cone knob. What else? Let's see. Down here with the pommel cubes, there's some scratch marks here that should be right here that I've asked Adam to do right next to this this circular machining mark. And finally, the D-ring. I chose to go with the one sold by KR Sabers. This came with a Wanawanga D-ring, which looked good. It was slightly wider. To me, do you see how this is sort of rounded on this end and a little bit more straight? I mean, it's a subtle difference, but to me, it looks like almost asymmetrical. Like it's a little bit more rounded on one side, a little bit more straight on the other. From the reference pictures, I feel like it looks more like this one. So I just switched the one that I got from Wanawanga with the one from KR Sabers. I think it looks better. That diagonal scratch mark again is something that Adam added. Yeah, all these little sort of details were done by Adam down here, except for this. So yeah, finally really happy with it. I could not be happier. I mean, it's in terms of accuracy, I don't think it gets any more accurate than that, you know, as far as we know. I mean, there's not a ton of good reference pictures of this particular prop, unfortunately, but from what we do have, this looks pretty near perfect. It looks great, it feels great in the hand, it looks beautiful as a display piece. Obviously, the drawback to these kind of replicas is you can't install them, which isn't a big deal for me. I'm a little bit more of a display person, but you know, for those of you who'd love to like cosplay or install it, this is not the one for you. But Seven Chambers, who made the Cave Mom, are also planning to do a V2 run sometime in the near future, hopefully. So keep an eye on that, because they're known for excellent quality, you know, really good, accurate hilts as well, and those will be installable. So that's exciting as well. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching, and may the force be with you.